What's up? So, a little earlier, I opened Fortnite on my S24 Ultra Samsung, which is what this is. And as happens every single time you open Fortnite, guess what? There's an update required. Well, great. So, you have two options. You can either leave Fortnite open on your phone, sitting there updating, and do absolutely nothing else on your phone, or you can do something else on your phone, and that'll cause Fortnite to stop updating. So I thought, there's got to be a better way. And the S24 Ultra has this split screen feature. I'm sure other Android phones probably have it. I'm not aware of which ones do, but I'm sure others do have it. But anyway, so I got the idea of running Fortnite in split screen like this and just smashing it over to the side to keep it open in the foreground so that the update process continues while I do other things on my phone, namely playing Super Mario World, which you see me doing now, using the SNES 9X emulator, by the way, which is readily available in the Google Play Store. But I just thought it was really cool, a really cool use of a feature that I otherwise thus far have never really found a use for. Split screening on a phone, and frankly never really was entirely sure I would use for anything. But this is a great use of it, keeping an app in the foreground that needs to stay in the foreground in order to run while you do something else. Now granted, this is a problem that is probably the result of Samsung gimping out the power management of Fortnite in some way. I mean, I've already gone into the battery settings and set it so that it has no battery restrictions placed upon it. But I think even with that set, Samsung phones continue to do some sort of battery conservation in the background. And the end result is something like Fortnite not continuing to update in the background. So it's kind of an invented problem. It's a solution to a problem that doesn't have to exist, frankly. But nevertheless, it's a workaround. And I thought a pretty cool one. You know something I saw in the news, I guess it was yesterday, and that is that Apple is going to begin allowing game emulators in their App Store. And I also saw that this seems to be a move to make the American version of the iPhone more appealing to an American audience who can't run third-party app stores like European iPhone owners now can. So if you're an Android user who has continued to use Android only because of the fact that you can install game emulators on your phone, well, suddenly this makes the iPhone a much more reasonable prospect for you, doesn't it? If game emulation is the only thing keeping you in the Android world. And it also decreases the size of the audience of people in the Americas and elsewhere who are going to complain about this feature that EU iPhones have that American iPhones do not, which is third-party app stores, which Apple absolutely does not want to implement in the United States. And they've only done so in the EU because they were forced to do so. So if you decrease the size of the audience of people who are going to feel slighted because they can't do a particular thing on their phone as a result of a restriction imposed by Apple, it just takes pressure off of Apple to implement third-party app stores or allow third-party app stores in the United States. So it's really a protective move on Apple's part. It's only, I mean, the bottom line is every form of app openness Apple implements People say, well, that's a good move for Apple. When was it not a good move for Apple? All of the openness that anyone has ever suggested ever would have been a good move for Apple, making Apple products more appealing. But they're just so slow to the party, so late to the party on every one of these things that people have wanted or demanded for a long time prior to them getting implemented. So third-party app store is a great example of that. And, oh shit, I just blew it. How? Now see, that's what happens when you play. That would not happen if I were playing on a legit Super Nintendo. So you just saw in real time a bug as a result of playing. Then again, you know, something to keep in mind, I am running, like, Fortnite is actually running. Fortnite is actually running on the right-hand side of my screen, consuming all the resources that Fortnite consumes. And I'm running a game emulator at the same time that's running. And at the same time, I am screen capturing. That's an amazing amount of work for a phone to do. It is doing all of that, but I think probably the end result of that is it might make something like a game emulator less stable. Look, I can't believe it retained that. It's still stuck there. That's quite fascinating. Die. No, I don't want that. If you hear me clicking and pressing, that's because I'm using one of those backbone controllers. You sort of put your phone between the two halves of this controller, and it kind of turns it into something that I can't hit that for my life. It turns it into something that approximates a Nintendo Switch. So that's why you hear me pressing buttons, but that's okay. It's my mission was accomplished either way. Hey, buddy. Okay, well, that's about all. Oh no! Oh man, I wasn't even watching the time. As soon as I said that's about all, dead. Wow, I captured a couple of really neat things in this video. I captured a bug occurring in real time in SNES 9X on one of probably the most frequently played and tested and tried games on this emulator. And despite the years of play that this game has probably had in this emulator, we captured a bug occurring in real time. And then the synchronicity at the end of me saying, that's about all, and dying immediately upon saying so. Anyway, for reals, that's about all.